Very good morning, dear students. How are you all? I hope all of you are fine and safe at your home. This will be our lecture number 12 of subject OC, and we are discussing chapter number 6, that is directing. Basically, the elements of directing are divided into four different parts. First one is a supervision, second one is a motivation, third one is leadership, and fourth one is communication. Amongst all these four elements, we have completed first two elements, that is supervision and motivation, in previous sessions. So we have started third element, that is leadership, from previous session itself, and we discussed about the meaning of leadership in that particular session. Today we are going to start a new session with the characteristics of leadership. So let us start. First characteristics is existence of followers. A leader always provides leadership to followers. Therefore, existence of followers is must for implementation of leadership. It is but obvious that whether the group is small or large, we require some of the followers who are obeying the orders and instructions given by the leader itself. And that's why we can say that the first and utmost requirement of any leadership is existence of followers, because without followers the leadership does not exist. So a leader always provides leadership to followers, and therefore existence of follower is must for implementation of leadership. Second one is a continuous process. As long as business unit exists, leader has to provide leadership to the subordinates. Thus, leadership is a continuous process. Basically, starting from the existence of the organization to till the end, we require some person who guides and give instructions to the subordinates, and that's why we can say that the leadership is a continuous process. As long as business unit exists, it means from the starting of the business unit up to the end, or whenever new task is allotted, or there will be change in any situation or working conditions, or changes in targets happens, then also we require some person who amongst all the persons and sitting at the top, and who will monitor and make changes according to the necessary. So as long as business unit exists, starting from up to the end, leader has to provide leadership to the subordinates. Time to time there is a requirement of different elements of motivation, and supervision is also there. Thus leadership is a continuous process which is always exist in the organization. So second characteristics is continuous process. Then third one is the acceptance of leadership. There must be the existence of leader as well as subordinates for leadership. The leader must be accepted by subordinates. Leader directs them and subordinates follow him. Now see, the first characteristics is existence of follower. It is the basic requirement. Now the third one is also interrelated with the first characteristics, that is, along with the existence of followers, the followers must follow or accept the leadership of the leader, and it is the basic requirement. Today we are seeing that along with the industrial leaders, there are some political leaders also, and there must be some of the followers who have accepted them as a leader, and they are following the orders and instructions given by that leader to them. Also we are seeing some of the religious gurus who also act as a leader, and many of the devotees has accepted them as a leader. So along with the existence of followers, the acceptance of a leadership is also very much requirement, because if followers are there but they are not accepting the person as a leader, then the industrial peace cannot be maintained. Sometimes it may happen that the leader will be appointed by force, by due to some of the powers, then also the acceptance of leadership is not done by the many of the people, and in that case the leadership will be fail. So acceptance of leadership is also one of the basic requirement. There must be the existence of leader as well as subordinates for leadership. First of all, there must be a existence of a person who called a leader, and followers who will be their subordinates or their devotees. The leader must be accepted by subordinates in any of the case, whether forcefully or by will or by deed. The leader must be accepted by subordinates, and leader directs them and subordinates follow him. In any of the situation, the leader will guide them and will give them instructions and orders, and the subordinates will follow these leaders. So the third one is acceptance of leadership. Fourth one is creates informal and effective relationship. Formally, leader is the head of specific groups, but informally, the leader can influence the person coming into his contact and can stimulate them for achievement of objectives. Formally means via rules and regulations, or we can say by structured, the leader is the head of specific groups. We have seen so many groups like friendship groups, then the group of people who are coming together for some particular achievement of objectives. Then in industries also there are the existence of teams and groups are there. Amongst them there will be the requirement of one person who is the head of specific group, to whom all other persons are seeing with respect and obeying the orders and instructions given by them. So formally, that is through rules and regulations or through code of conduct, the leader is the head of the specific group, means he is the main member. But informally, the leader can influence the person coming into his contact. Formally, he is the head, but informally, he is dealing with the different members of the group differently, because the orders and instructions given by them will be different among different persons, and it may happen that he can influence the person coming into his contact and can stimulate them for achievement of objective, because it is the very basic quality of the leader that he should have an attractive personality, and whoever comes to their contact will be attracted towards them and they can influence them. Here we are talking about the business organizations, but in political group also sometimes it may happen that the followers will consider their leader as a role model, and they do whatever given by the leader, or we can say whatever order and instruction given by the leader, whether they are getting anything or not. Then it is the case that the leader can influence the person coming into his contact. If we want to take an example of this leadership, then in today's Indian economy, our Prime Minister, that is Mr. Narendra Modi, who can act as a leader of the country, and he can influence all those who are coming into his contact. He has different parameters for different peoples, like for farmers, businessmen, and for all other. So if we take him as a leader, then this will be very clearly from that creates informal and effective relationship, that the leader can influence the person coming into his contact and can stimulate them. So whoever comes into the contact of them, they can stimulate them for the achievement of objectives. they can inspire them or encourage them to do a particular task. In business organization also, if the leader is efficient, then he can gain the best result from even an average or below average employee, because he is having a very basic nature or personality that they can influence anyone or they can stimulate them that they can achieve the objective. Here we are talking about the achievement of objectives willingly and not forcefully. So the leader should have the quality that they can influence and can get the work done from the person of their group members. Fifth one is a ideal personality, because whoever you are, your personality will be the thing which can follow by your followers. So, if your personality is ideal, then you will become a role model for so many persons, and they can act according to your actions or they can act as per your orders and instructions, because now they termed you as a leader or the role model. Leader must be an ideal person. He influences his subordinates by his behavior and nature. He is having inborn qualities while some qualities are cultivated. Such a skillful person can only be a leader. So, ideal personality doesn't mean that he should be a very tall or a fat personality or a strong, or we can say healthy and strong personality. But ideal personality means the personality that attracts other and attracts them as sorry attracts other and other term them as a leader. So leader must be an ideal person, because in future time they will be considered as a role model. Say for example, during the presidential time period of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, many of the, or we can say almost all of the persons who termed them as their role model can probably relate them with the ideal personality. Neither he is having a strong physics or nor he is able to cultivate or to influence the person, but their personality says a lot and people will inspire by them. Today they are no more with us, but then also majority of the political followers are of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, because of his ideal personality. He influences his subordinates by his behavior and nature, because he was the only person to whom elected by both ruling as well as opposition party. Basically, for the presidential seat, the name of the person will be given by the ruling party and the opposition party will be agreed with them. But here in the case of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam sir, both ruling as well as opposition party agreed to term them as a president. So he influenced his subordinates by his behavior and nature. He is having inborn qualities. Some of the leaders are having leadership quality inborn. That means they can influence others or they can inspire others from a very starting phase. And while some qualities are cultivated and some other qualities will be gained during his leadership time or through the training or through the experience. And such a skillful person can only be a leader. So in short, we can say that leader must be having an ideal personality. That's why he can influence subordinates by behavior and nature, and skillful person can only be a leader. Now let us move towards the sixth point, that is motivation. Leadership includes motivation of employees. Therefore, he first motivates employees to get the expected results. Here we can say that leader includes motivation of employees, because he is the only person in a group who can influence other, inspires other, or encourages other. So it includes motivation of employees, because whenever the captain is in the playground, then all other fielders or all other sportsmen or all other persons who are working in the field will be very happy, because they knows that there is a inborn motivation from their leader, and therefore he first motivates employees to get the expected result. Same way in business organization also, when leader is with the employees, then they motivate and inspire to work more, and that's why we can say that he motivates employees to get the expected results. Point number 7 is harmony of interest. Leadership brings harmony of interest among leader and his subordinates. Leadership becomes inefficient and useless if leader and his subordinates' interests are at variance. Harmony of interest means there will be a same interest of the leader and the members. While you are working in a group, there should be prominence given to the general interest and not to the personal interest. Same way, whenever you are working in a group, your objective or your interest will be matched with the leader's interest, and that's why we can say there should be harmony of interest among the leaders and followers. Leadership brings harmony of interest among leader and his subordinates, because it is the dream that can be seen from their subordinates' eyes, or we can say the subordinates' dreams can be seen from the eye of a leader. So their objectives or interest should be coincide and coordinate with each other, and that's why it is the leadership that brings harmony of interest. It may happen that when the subordinates are joining the group, at that time their interest will be different, because they are not agreed on some terms, but while working in a group they have to forgo their basic interest and they have to work for the betterment of group itself. That's why we can say that it is the capability of a leader that bring harmony of interest among his subordinates. Leadership becomes inefficient and useless if leader and his subordinates' interests are at variance. And at the time when the interests are varied between the subordinates and leader, then always the organization has to suffer. Because if the goal or interest of the leader is different than the members, then there will be no proper coordination and cooperation amongst them, and their work or objective will not be fulfilled within a stipulated time period. So leadership becomes inefficient and useless if leader and his subordinates' interests are not matching with each other, because it may happen that the variance interest will become a chaos in the organization or in the group, and which results into disputes and conflicts among the members, and the achievement of objective will not be fulfilled. So harmony of interest is also one of the important characteristics. Eighth one and last one is the effect of situation. The success of a leader depends on certain circumstances. If there is change in situation, leader does not get the success. So at the time when the leadership is established or leader is appointed, the situation of that time and the situation of now is if different, then the leadership will become a failed, because the leader or the subordinates are habitual to working in some particular situation or in some particular conditions. So the success of a leader depends on certain circumstances. Basically, for any type of leadership, the basic requirement is that he or she can change themselves and group according to the needs and necessary of the particular circumstances. But if leader is not able to change with that particular circumstances, then the group objective will not be achieved. And if there will be change in situation, then leader does not get the success, because they are habitual to work in a particular situation, and if there is any kind of change in that situation, they are failed to get the result. So we can say effect of situation is also comes on the leadership style, and the success and failure depends on circumstances. If there is change in situation, leader does not get the success. So here we have completed all the 8 characteristics given over here in this topic, and let us discuss the last topic of third element, that is qualities of a good leader. There is basically requirement of 3 types of qualities. Basically there are so many qualities that required in a particular good leader, but here we have totally segregated these qualities on the basis of 3 main heads, that is physical qualities, intellectual qualities, and psychological qualities. So let us start with the first, that is physical qualities. Good health is a prime requisite for an effective leader. Other than this, physical structure, attractive physique, cheerful nature inspires the subordinates. Why good health is a prime requisite? Because with your good health, the vibrations that comes from your body will inspire others also. And if the leader is ill, or he is suffering from some particular kind of disease, then the subordinates will also get the negative vibrations from them. So it is the prime requirement for any of the leader that amongst the physical quality, good health should be done, so that they can work with a cheerful nature and always smiling while they are working. Other than good health, physical structure, your structure should be attractive, that your health, along with your health, your physical structure, that is your body shape and your body structure, then your attractive physique and cheerful nature. Sometimes it may happen that the cheerful nature or the smiling face can solve many of the problems or hurdles that comes in achievement of the objective. So if the leader is working with a very good health, proper attractive physique and cheerful nature, then they can subordinate their employees properly, they can inspire them, and along with that the goals of the organization will be achieved within a stipulated time period. So in physical qualities we have to remember all these points. Now second one is intellectual qualities. Good leader should be intelligent. Intellectual qualities includes decision making power, mental ability, grasping power, scientific approach, curiosity, reasoning ability, foresight, as well as different skills like elocution, calculative skill, knowledge of interrelation, human skills, etc. This is the full list of all intellectual qualities that is required in any of the good leader. Let us discuss few amongst them. A good leader should be intelligent. Always the intelligence will make them more attractive. So along with intelligent, intellectual qualities like decision making power, because it is not always easy to make a decision in different situations. Sometimes you will be in a dilemma that which one is the best alternative and which one is not, and always you have to make the decision amongst all that available alternatives that seems similar to each other, but their effect is different according to the different situation. The first and foremost important quality that required is a decision making power. Second one is a mental ability to understand and to make others understand, or we can say explain the things to subordinates. So that is mental ability, their grasping power, because every time it is not easy that the thing is same as it is seems. Sometimes it is seems differently while the actual thing is also different. So in that case the grasping power of particular leader is the requirement. Scientific approach, because whenever they have to take any kind of decision, then their scientific approach towards them along with their intuition and guts, the scientific approach is the foremost necessity. Curiosity to understand different things and to change according to the changing circumstances is also one of the intellectual quality. Reasoning ability to understand different types of concepts like blood relations, different type of interrelations, and then different type of situations also required reasoning ability. Foresight, it means to predict or make predictions or forecasting for the different elements, as well as different skills like elocution, their style of speech, or we can say speaking with different persons is also some of the attractive thing. Calculative skill, within a seconds he will be able to calculate the different elements that are affecting the business organization or affecting the objectives that they wants to achieve. So it is a calculative skill. Knowledge of interrelations, because here the leader has to work with the group of members who are already human beings, and it is very difficult to deal with human beings than with machines. So it is the intellectual quality, that is the knowledge of interrelationship is very much necessary in any of the leader, because with this knowledge he can make a perfect decision regarding his subordinates, his superiors and his colleagues, and they can act wisely and visionary with all this, so that the achievement of goal becomes very easy. Human skills, whenever they have to take a decision, then some kind of humanity approach required, because as they are working with human beings, the style and the requirement of different human is also different. So human skill is also necessary for a good leader. Now let us discuss third and last but not least is psychological qualities. One thing here you have to make very clear in your mind is that intellectual qualities and psychological qualities are different. So in psychological qualities like pleasant personality, zeal, courage, sense of cooperation, tact, interest in work, affection, patience, etc. are included. So here the psychological qualities like pleasant personality, that personality attracts others and he is always talking with other with a smile in his face. Zeal, zeal means to some kind of notion of a mind that attracts the person towards the work and he enjoying their work. Courage to take different decisions in a different situations. Sense of cooperation, where he is cooperating others and in return he is expecting a cooperation of others also. Tact means different types of skills that is required in a leader. Interest in work, he is always interested in work and result achievements. Affection, that means he is working with others with a due affections. He like affection, he wants to give affection and wants to get affection. Patience, it is one of the most requirement in any of the leader are included. So here with this particular topic we are concluding our sessions. Today we discussed the third element of directing, that is the leadership. Today we discussed 8 characteristics, that is existence of followers, continuous process, acceptance of leadership, creates informal and efficient effective relationship, ideal personality, motivation, harmony of interest, and effect of situation. And lastly, we discuss the qualities of a good leader, that is physical qualities, intellectual qualities, and psychological qualities. Amongst these qualities, in previous 4 examinations, different types of qualities are asked in different styles. Like in one question paper, it is asked that explain the qualities of a good leader in 3 mark. In one paper, it is asked that explain the intellectual qualities of a leader in 3 mark. In one paper, it is asked that explain the psychological qualities. And in one paper, only name of the qualities of a good leader is asked. So I recommend you and suggest you to remember and learn all these qualities of a good leader along with the questions, that is the meaning and characteristics of a good leader. In next session we will continue with the last element and last topic of this chapter also, that is communication, which is also a very wide topic. We start discussing from next lecture onwards. Till that, have a nice day and thank you very much, class.